Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to Dead Malls, your one home for the most thorough mall tours and explorations, as well as everything history related. In tonight's episode, I bring you all the second of 3 abandoned malls to round out Season 7, another perfectionism classic. Much like Montgomery Mall from the last episode, the beast that is Montgomery is an 800 video wide folder in my phone that completely took on a life of its own. At the start of 2025, I explored the abandoned gem of the South, Montgomery Mall, for what I thought would be a one-and-done visit. But the moment I stepped inside, I instantly became hooked on its atmosphere, and dead set on returning to document every last corner of it. One trip turned into two became 3, and before I knew it, the center court clock had seen me return 4 more times throughout the year in pursuit of everything this mall had left to offer. The race to discover and explore what so many back hallways and walled-off storefronts had to hide within. And within these visits, I found one of my new top 5 malls, a place so riddled with decay and water damage that if not for the skylights and draftiness that it offers, it would borderline Sandberg for decay. Thankfully, a good chunk of it is still untouched and sits abandoned in 2008.
It's a little side mall entrance with a giant tree in the way.
I became so wrapped up in Montgomery, its story, the rise and fall, and what happened after, that I can say now, with countless hours of footage captured and as many photo archives preserved and digitized as I could find, I can finally bring you all what I believe is the definitive and fully complete exploration of the Montgomery Mall. So without further ado, let's dive in here with our first visit, which takes us back to early March of 2025, where after a full night of driving across Florida and Alabama, bleary-eyed and in desperate need of some action and energy, the first Florida trip squad arrived at the front doors of Montgomery Mall as the sun was just barely creeping up into the high skies. We discovered pretty quickly that despite a church, a school, and a police station bordering this mall, it was still insanely easy to get into, with several dozen doors around the exterior, including those in the giant glass-mirrored entryways, completely wide open. 4 deep, we slinked in, just a few dozen yards away from the police station, and what was left inside was absolutely mind-boggling. And you'll see why, very quickly, I fell in love with this watery tiled paradise.
I love me a good sticky floor.
As we step in here, I'd also like to take a moment to shout out our winner, who was able to correctly guess the next mall. Very nice job, Chris Explores. If you'd like to have your chance of being shouted out in the next episode, stick around for the next challenge. Anyways, let's dive in here, get a feel for, get acquainted with, and begin our explore of the Montgomery Mall in Montgomery, Alabama. And you know, I just had to throw in this intro track one more time. The slowed music felt so befitting for this hauntingly beautiful mall, which was quite literally stuck in time.
Literally like wading through water.
As we explore, you'll see so many remnants of the early 2000s, and even eras before, as when this place was still barely open and at the end of its life, it was largely extremely outdated. I mean, just let this old photo store prove that to you.
Old ass tech back here. Like these super old computers. Fujifilm, like print labs. Let's check that out.
This place is like an Urbexer's postcard. It's inviting, it's warm, perhaps a little too warm in the summer months. It's absolutely gorgeous no matter which angle you take it in and view it from, and if anything, the decay and all of the other elements of rot and growth have given Montgomery this fascinating new second life. A teeming life of which I was so dead set on capturing as much as I could have. Coming up, you'll especially be flabbergasted by what Montgomery was once like, and how beautiful it once was when we get to its story and the historic photos that were saved. I mean, some of them were shown in the intro, but those were just the very tip of the Montgomery iceberg. Stay tuned.
Massive store.
No, seriously, I can't get over how cool this mall is. I mean, all of this old stuff just shoved into this store. There is so much hiding within this place. So much from over 20 years ago, almost at this point. And just getting back into the center court, I gotta gawk at the beauty again, because oh my goodness, all of these original flower planter pedestals, which originally were topped with statues, these were beautiful. I found coming here over the year that the climate and conditions of Montgomery are always a gamble. Coming here in the spring months leads to all sorts of fun in the mall's wet areas. Coming here in the summer months leads to heat exhaustion and death by mosquitoes. And every other time in the year is kind of just a gamble, because its tiles will almost always have a sticky green film spread across where the water usually sits. But hey, at least we got scenic waterfalls to give this place a nice backdrop. We'll get to the history here soon enough, but it's very clear and evident to see how this mall was doing towards the end of its life just by taking a gander at how all of these stores were completely walled off, it looks like, towards the end. And people have obviously broken into them, either busted the walls down or have started opening the doors here, like to this old Claire's. But it's also, why is the door so narrow here? But it's so evident and crazy to see as we were walking through the mall how it quite literally had like between 5 and 10 stores open and every other space was completely walled off. It's pretty sad and a telling sign for how the mall was doing, but it does leave for a lot of fun goodies for us to find later on, like these old Claire's neons.
What the heck was this?
Now we get into the real meat and potatoes of it. Because if you thought the center court clock was crazy, the mall's food court, once dubbed the Palm Court, is on a whole nother level. The tables and chairs still sit in place 18 years later, grass and plants growing up and out of the tile around them, while the rest of the food court and its stalls slowly rots away and collapses on itself under its own weight. As water damage and the state of the roof continue to worsen and deteriorate, this Palm Court jungle will only continue to grow and thrive.
Now open at the East Court. Look at all the neon. This is 100% an old disc jockey. Oh, they got movie theater reels on the ground. This was a small disc jockey. Look at this. And with all of the VHS tapes behind. Covered in spider webs. Oh my gosh, that whole thing is just caked with spider webs. Crazy. Montgomery balls.
While we explore this food court for the first time, and don't worry, we'll come back here many more times in the future to see what's behind some of these walls, I'll leave you all with some of the raw ambiance and just the sounds that were being heard within this food court, which was pretty much just 1,000 drips coming from all around me as the entire thing completely falls apart in real time.
Nasty water. Oh, that was gross. Look at all these 90s style storefronts. 90s Foot Locker, 90s American Eagle, looks like.
The tale of Montgomery Mall begins long ago in the small southern city of Montgomery, Alabama. Back in 1963, Gulfport, Mississippi developers W.L. Holcomb and Associates were awarded a contract to construct a $7.5 million shopping center on 40 acres of land owned by E.P. Magnum. The original plan called for a massive mall to be built on a 90-acre tract east of Woodley Road, about a mile west from where it is presently located. The mall was scheduled to open in 1965 with Montgomery Fair as its leading tenant. Under the zoning plan submitted by the City Commission for approval in August 1963, the tract was even designated as a business district. However, commissioners confronted with growing pressure from downtown merchants and some residents of Woodley Park, as well as surrounding neighborhoods, killed the original Holcomb idea by rejecting the tract's commercial classification. The original Montgomery Mall was planned to be one of the largest shopping centers in the entire area, designed on nearly identical principles as the Edgewater Mall in Gulfport, Mississippi. which was also constructed by Holcomb. By early 1965, Montgomery Fair had announced its plans to occupy a new store covering 171,000 square feet at the present-day mall site. And while Montgomery Fair was moving along with its plans, constructing their newest and largest department store, things were not going so well for Holcomb. He had run out of money to pay the general contractor, engineering, and architectural firms that constructed the Montgomery Fair store. A lawsuit was filed against Holcomb by general contractor Daniel Construction for $2.9 million, the engineering firm of Barnard and Burke of Mississippi for $212,000, and architects August Perez and Associates for $9,500. By the end of 1965, Holcomb was in receivership, with Anglo-American Properties taking over the firm's debts. Under court order, Anglo-American had 6 months in which to pay the indebtedness, otherwise Daniel Construction would own the building if the payment was not made in time. While all of this malarkey was happening and the mall was even struggling to get off the ground, Montgomery Fair would open their freestanding department store in late 1965. The first piece of the puzzle that was to one day, hopefully, come together as Montgomery Mall.
Ew, look at these gumballs in these machines. They literally, like, look at that. Ew, like mushed in. Looking like they're 1,000 years old. Guys, how much money would it take for y'all to eat one of the gumballs at Montgomery Mall? Be honest.
From what's most likely the last neon-lit rave store in existence, to a Kid's Foot Locker, to a Ruby Tuesday, and even a Sam Goody with everything left behind, Montgomery had so much left to offer. It's clear that when they closed this place up for good, they didn't have any sort of fixture sale or anything. They just locked the doors one day and never looked back. You gotta see this Sam Goody though. This easily became a landmark attraction for me anytime I came back to this mall.
Oh my gosh. This is so f***ing cool. Okay. I'll make my way back. Oh yes, dude. They left some of those shelves in here.
Everything from the golden era Family Guy posters to shelves marked with original GameCube, PS2, and Xbox labels, this OG Sam Goody was a 2000s time capsule. It would later even become a home point for further Montgomery expeditions.
And there's the letters. Sam Goody. D G O. Oh my gosh. Got it. Look at the walls and the mold in them. Oh my gosh. Digital Alley. Easy listening.
There is an extremely retro, untouched KB Toys right behind that wall to the left of Parisian, and you couldn't get into it at the time as the walls were still intact, but in later visits, upon hearing about a KB Toys rumored to be in this hallway somewhere, I found that decay and other vandals would take down some of these thin drywalls for me, leading to incredible discoveries, but we'll come back to that later.
All of the stores in this wing were walled off. Even Sam Goody was.
In mid-1966, the entire mall property, save for Montgomery Fair, was forced to be sold at public auction to satisfy the $3 million in debts owed by Holcomb. Daniel Construction won out as the highest bidder, putting $2.5 million on the line for a long-term property lease. Later that year, in October of 1966, the City Planning Commission approved a rezoning petition which allowed the mall's planners to begin construction. In January of 1967, steel girders and the mall's superstructure rose out of the dirt on the south side of the city. And in March of 1967, Daniel officials predicted that the new shopping center would be open in the fall of 1968. However, various factors delayed the mall's final grand opening until 1970.
Must be where they just shoved all the kids' stuff from out there. the inside of my shoe now. Just great. Yeah, dude, this place is amazing. Bigger. This was like some sort of an old restaurant or something. So we have the counters and everything behind here. All the tile and oh, it was like an ice cream shop. Is it actually? There's a way in. Look at that beautiful tile. Just completely covered up and destroyed now. Spider webs. I don't want to go any further. Payphones are still there. Dangling.
If you think this area here is bad now with how extraordinarily wet it is, just you wait until we come back here again in the future. As every time we came back to this mall, the rust, the puddles, the rot, and the destruction only grew and grew.
That rave is so cool with the neons on it still. You don't see that every day.
As we head back to the original, older section of the mall, we'll find an off-the-beaten-path back hallway near what was once one of the two JCPenney entrances. Within this narrow, musty corridor, boxes upon boxes of VHS tapes lie, dusty and waiting with other relics of the past. Hundreds of old photo albums, photos scattered all over the ground. It was absolute anarchy, and clear that any semblance of past order and proper cataloging with these archives had long vanished. I scooped up as many as I could, and a lot of those are the photos that you will see throughout tonight's episode. Almost all of them from the 90s.
Well, I guess I found out what jewelry store this was. Small Freedman's.
As the mall neared its spring grand opening of 1970, residents of Montgomery were all over the place on it, either in opposition, enthusiastic about the promise of modern shopping and new jobs, or cautiously waiting to see whether the troubled development would even live up to the hype. All eyes were on the crossroads of Eastern Boulevard and McGehee, and only time could tell how it would all pan out.
This is nasty. On the floor. God damn. Careful. Yeah, I did. Slipping in 4K. Slipping Jimmy in 4K. There's a structure right there. Yeah, it's gotta be Bath and Body Works. Let's see. Really? Ooh. Oh, look at that. Dang the box. There's a lot of old computers in a lot of stores, actually. There's the two gates. Would have been a corner Bath and Body Works, I guess. Yeah, literally. What's next door? Hey, yo. That's like a perfect human-sized hole right there. You guys see that?
Montgomery Mall held its official grand opening on Thursday, April 16th, 1970. In its original form, Montgomery existed only as this stretch between Penny's and Montgomery Fair. 16 of the anticipated 50 stores opening for business on day one included Fanine's, Lerner, Schwobilt Clothes, Mr. K Shoes, Greenbrier Limited, Kinney Shoes, Memory Lane Gifts, Butler Shoes, Singers, VJ Elmore Variety Store, Artie Shoes, Renfro's, and the National Shirt Shop. among others. We're going to discover the photo wall here in just a moment, courtesy of my friend Ethan, who proclaimed several artifacts were left behind in the dust. And while we explore it, we'll continue with the history. But check out this old Disney store here. I feel like they used to be in tons of dead malls, even if they were closed, but now they are all rapidly going extinct. That day of grand opening, Montgomery found a new home and a new third space, a calming and peaceful environment with several planters and trees lining up and down its skylight corridors. Dark wood trims lined the ceilings, and in its center court, a massive fountain shot geysers of water dozens of feet into the air. Montgomery Mall, though initially limited in its offerings, was obviously a hit, and new stores to open just after grand opening, or later on, included those like Joann Fabrics, Zales, Baker Shoes, Orange Julius, Lady Otis Hosiery, Petorama, Leon's, Motherhood Maternity, People's Bank, The Candle Cabin, and Morrison's Cafeteria. After she had broken in summer for the first time, and was rounding out some of the hottest months of the year, Montgomery Mall was given its next major addition, which came to fruition in the form of the Montgomery Mall Theater, which opened on August 13th, 1970, with Robert Morse in The Boatniks. Originally operated by ABC Southeastern Theaters, it was a massive single-screen seating 800 and was billed as an ultra-vision theater, equipped for 70mm films. It took shape on the north side of the parking lot near JCPenney, and with it, Montgomery Mall became an economic powerhouse for a time. While Montgomery Fair was a great beginning of the mall's timeline, its own story came to a close too soon in 1970 as Mobile-based Gay Fairs acquired the company and rebranded the store accordingly. Only after Montgomery Mall had made its debut did 3 primary retail districts exist in Montgomery: the mall, downtown, and for those who preferred something in between, there was the indoor-outdoor Normandale Mall just 3 miles to the west. For a time in Montgomery, there was a shopping option for everyone. But as time went on and newer shopping options were springing up all over the city, Montgomery Mall was going to have to adjust to a very diverse retail scape.
One-hour photo? Wait a minute. Dude, I found photos. Oh my gosh, I found photos. A bunch of them. Dollar Tree, the Disney store when it was still open. Dude, I'll share some of these. There's here, take one of these. There's duplicates. I'm looking. Look at coming spring of '96, the Disney store. I don't know. Was it just? Is this just? I don't know. Maybe this is. Yeah. That's what was behind it. Ooh, retro champs with the logos still up. The Stephen Barry's all natural power bar. What? Oh my gosh, look at that. This whole area is flooded. Just gotta kind of push through it. Wow, there's a lot of spider webs in here. This is disgusting. It's like my worst fear.
Tell me you're crazy without telling me you're crazy. I don't know how Ethan did it, but climbing that clock and being like 20, 30 feet off the ground was absolutely something that I could never do myself. Kudos, you crazy son of a gun. And some photos we all ended up taking together will be featured here in just a bit.
That is a nice little fall right there. Yeah, literally. There's nature growing up there. There literally is, though. Yeah, see, I don't know like what the deal is down here. It looks like it's open kind of, but at the same time, not really. I'm just gonna say and go down. Hopefully nobody gets me. I swear I thought I saw movement coming from inside of the Stephen Barry's, which is, it's been turned into a police station now. You know, that's the last thing that I want. The last thing. So I'm not even gonna go over there. This is good enough for me.
It was in this moment that I was really testing and pushing the bounds on whether or not the police station could actually see into the mall. Through the strange, almost patch-like coverage of windows, which long ago was an entrance to Gavers, I thought I saw movement, but couldn't tell if it was just the strange reflections playing tricks on my eyes or not. Regardless, I'm sure it didn't really matter at this point, as the boys were making a clatter in the center court, and quite literally nothing was happening.
Okay, go.
I can't.
Yeah, you're changing it a little bit.
It's bugging, but it's going back over.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize there's neons in the skylights up there. That is so cool.
After dressing up the center court for a lovely all-American display, we took a few photos and then we're on our way out. But that incredible clock instantly became a cornerstone, an icon, the middle of it all, and what quite literally felt like the heart of the mall. I fell in love with Montgomery on that first visit, and was in luck, as I would be back in just a week on a trip with some new friends. But first, let's say our goodbyes after failing to attempt to locate the mall office, a tricky endeavor which proved itself more difficult in the coming visits than I like to admit.
Yes, this is my kind of mall.
MontgomeryShopping.com. Gift certificates.
The website's amazing.
Look at the setups they got with the cameras.
Oh yeah. This has to be it. Dude, that's some,
Definitely
those are some old cameras.
this is definitely
Express Man.
it's in here.
What? Valid. Pass these cords.
This water says, dude, this water does not look right.
I could use a hand sanitizer right now. Dad sucks.
As we skip ahead in time with each visit, I think how I will try to present the history of this mall in such a long video is by breaking it up into each era of its life within each walkthrough. So as we jump ahead a week later, we'll go from its troubled early conception, construction, and opening into its early years and the difficulties that soon came with running one of the largest indoor malls of the South. As we explore, revisit, and find new discoveries, we'll eventually even get to its major renovation, the way it came to look like the pastel paradise seen today and in a lot of these old photos. This exterior, though, is absolutely horrid, completely decrepit, rotting, and come in the later months, you'll see just how overgrown it becomes. But at least the little Montgomery M neons are still hanging up. Barely, just barely.
This one looks interesting. I don't think I went in here last time. Golden Diamond. Oh, wow. The sale is happening, you guys. Layaway available here. Lay away. This was Dollar Tree. Oh my gosh. Oh, it still has the original tiling and entrance. That is so freaking cool. This looks just like the one behind. Oh, the water's gone away, thank God. You can actually walk in here now. It was completely flooded last time.
In its first year alone, the mall hosted a variety of community events and quickly became an epicenter of activity in the city. Everyone from the Easter Bunny to Santa Claus stopped by, and fashion and car shows, school events, and everything else you could do under the sun was soon done under the air-conditioned comfort of its park-like atriums. As 1971 came round, the mall held its first birthday, welcoming over a dozen new stores and more than doubling its store count to 32.
Movie scene. Look at all these racks would have been full of CDs. Look at that old Xbox. Oh my God, that's sick. The GameCube, Nintendo DS. This is so crazy. Like, this is so of its era. Oh, it's spiderwebby back here. Watch out. Family. Contains no merchandise. You can see where the letters were cooked into the counter. It's been here for so long. Still flooded right there. You can't 100% avoid it, but you can for the most part. Gosh, it's crazy how deteriorated it is. big store. Was one of their entrances. JCPenney right there. They're still active. Like, you can see the freaking lights on underneath those doors. Oh yeah, this was definitely Cinnamon. Yummy. Oh wow.
Perhaps the largest competition for the mall, which came to sprout up on the east side of the city, was another mall. Eastdale Mall opened in 1977, with more than double the amount of stores and size as the Montgomery Mall. It featured Anchor's Pizzits and Parisian, both upscale department stores, as well as Montgomery Ward and Gaffer's, the latter of which deciding it was hip to rock two massive department stores at both of these malls just 4 miles away from each other. For a time, both malls didn't really hurt each other, and instead coexisted in a way where if you didn't find what you were looking for in Eastdale, you could always go right down the road to Montgomery, or vice versa. It was still troubling though. Eastdale was the better mall in terms of size, location, and store count, so in time the older Montgomery was going to have to improve and expand. And they did, slowly. Martin Theaters took over operations of the single screen in the parking lot and twinned the theater in December of 1977, but as the 70s came to a close, nothing major yet was on the horizon. It was all smooth sailing as the golden age of shopping continued to flourish in Montgomery.
Oh, they still have the fixtures up on the counter. This carpet is all wacky.
Montgomery Bridal?
Huh. What the heck? What does that calendar say? Is that 06?
Yeah.
This is one of my next stops on my journey. Looks like there's still a bunch of tile in here. Oh, wow. Oh, there's the sign. Just left it. piece from 400 years ago. Imagine. Oh my god. Pretty sure. Yes, this was EB Games. Not really a whole lot left of it. Tell you what. But it was at one point EB Games. With all the racks. Oh my gosh, look at all the racks right there. Absolutely crazy. Fresh popped.
I may have said at the beginning that Sandburg is worse than this mall in terms of decay, but as I look back through this footage, my beliefs are truly tested. I mean, I can't say it's too many abandoned malls that I see nowadays with actual plant growth everywhere, and mold just deteriorating the walls apart in its own destructive, disgusting way. And we're still only in the spring months. Wait till summer hits and the bugs come out. Montgomery was not fun. Despite the rot and the damage, there was still just so much beauty within these halls waiting to be seen. From early morning sunlight pouring in through the barrel vaulted skylights to the center court clock, that amazing icon, which sat proudly anchoring the mall down, surfaces still reflecting golden sunlight.
I think you can really tell how much this mall was struggling just by the food court tenants. Like before it closed, look at every 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tenants were all walled off. Only 3 were open. That's crazy. printing equipment is so cool. I don't really know a whole lot about this stuff, but to those that do, how cool. All of this tech. There's more back here. Oh, there's a whole store. Drywall is falling apart right there. Look at all these old monitors and stuff. Oh, I love this mall so much.
Ending out this second visit to Montgomery Mall, I just couldn't get enough of this place, and knew I had to come back again in the future. So, as we jump ahead again, this time a month and a half later to the end of April, me and Parker from Slacking Packing explored several new sites within. Now, any sane and normal person would probably be like, yeah, 2 visits where you're fully walking around is enough, but no, not for me. As with each time I left, I would, in a very similar vein to Sandberg, look back at the footage, find new hidden places and areas, back hallways, offices, and old storerooms, and was just way too intrigued not to go back. Like Sandberg, I suddenly felt it my duty to 100% this mall. Put a video out there on the internet of this place like no other. It wasn't just gonna be some cheap 20-minute run and gun. I keep referencing back to it, but like last episode Sandberg, I truly became a mall rat to these mold-filled hallways, discovering in subsequent visits untold sights, some caked in dust for over 20 years. After revisiting my favorite of these old stores, the old Sam Goody, you'll see this untouched KB Toys just sitting there in the dust. I guess in the months since I was last here, someone decided to body slam the wall covering the KB and revealed it to the world. Hey, I ain't complaining.
Oh, I think this was the KB Toys. This was 100% a KB Toys. Like you can see the old entryway right there. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Oh.
Yeah, the kids growing up in Montgomery Mall had it so good at one point. The best toy store ever, right across from the best music store ever. Does anybody have any memories from those days that they're willing to share? Let's hear some down below in the comments. I always say it, but the memories of these incredible malls and their wonderful, colorful stores are always my favorites to read.
Wow, those flooring, that flooring is so cool. I always wondered where this mall's KB Toys was. Now I guess I know. Is this how I get over to the other store? Oh, I think it is. Dude, do I really want to crawl through there? That.
And now, for your listening pleasure, here is a few minutes of raw ambiance, as both you, the audience, and Parker and I really needed to tune in our listening ears, looking out for any nay-doers afoot.
It's just water. I think you're good. This is where all the animals are, inside this old lady Foot Locker. It's so sad. scented fragrances. Guys, there's a sale going on. Look at the neons. Those are pretty cool. Sucks that the rest of it's been trashed. There's an old GNC. The Butt Life. By Jan Ruskin. Things do not change. We change. Yeah, this is definitely a GNC. Oh, there's another quote over there. What does that say? Whatever you are, be a good one. Valid. Oh, look, there you go. Thank you for shopping at GNC. That is cool. Shoes here. What the heck? Shoes that were left behind. What? Running. Kids Foot Locker, Junction City, Kansas. Next week's schedule from 2008. That is crazy.
Actually, it looks like it's this week's schedule. Probably the last schedule they ever posted. As if I was using my eyes, I would have actually seen that next week's schedule slot was completely empty, and was probably left like that when the store closed.
is the arcade room here. Oh, wow. More TV mounts right there. Like strap-on TV mounts. That is so weird. This is insane.
I couldn't think of a more picturesque and romantic first date spot. Please, take a sip of the Meth Mountain Dew. I wouldn't want it to go to waste. The, at the time, 13-year-old mall was by no means in any dire need of a new look. However, as the 80s came round with their colorful, rigorous aesthetics and designs, the older, dated, and darker designs of the early 70s just weren't in style anymore. On October 6th of 1983, the mall was purchased by Montgomery developers Jim Wilson and Associates for $13 million. Wilson immediately began studies into a possible renovation and addition to the existing structure. Wilson had experience with several other malls across the South by this point, such as Bainbridge in Georgia and a Metro Center in Jackson. Initially, they had contracted a New Orleans developer to design plans for a 100,000 square foot expansion and addition of a third anchor. At the time, it was projected to cost $3 million, however, no third anchor tenant was actually yet found, and plans sort of just sat in a limbo status for a while. Stores eagerly awaited what was next, but as the years went by, the same old Montgomery Mall kept chugging along. Wilson would make the promise that the renovations were coming, but behind the scenes, they were failing to locate that third anchor tenant, and instead letting plans stall. By December of 1986, 3 years later, tenants were still being told that the renovation was coming. Most had already cast their doubts by this point, but unbeknownst to them, by 1987, something incredible would actually begin to develop. What you just witnessed there was yet another failed attempt for me to locate the mall office, or any kind of security office, because in my chronicles of learning more about this mall, I discovered a giant room stacked with tubed CRT TVs, and that was pretty much my primary goal this visit, was locate that one room which I believed to be some sort of security office. Unfortunately, this giant backrooms-like mall had so many twists and turns and random staircases that just took you nowhere that I had no clue where I was going. I was kind of just feeling it out. After months of searching, we finally found it. The security office, which I suppose should have been a bit more obvious before with its giant label above promoting safety, but all that was left on the inside were the remains of computers and systems stuck in an analog era which have all been sitting dormant for decades now.
The security card. Safety counts. They want it 4 times. Oh my gosh. The security office. And there's still tons of tapes left. Oh my gosh, look, you can still see the screens are burned in. Oh my god, that is so cool. All the small security cameras. 2003. That was the last time they used this system. Day 26, Monday. Hundreds of tapes here. Tape 3, monitor 3. This one's still got images burned into it too. Hold. And so does these. All of these are here. Oh my gosh. We can move some cameras. Please place all VCR tapes back in chronological order. I mean, there's literally hundreds of them here. This is crazy. Oh no.
Raphael.
Gaston got banned from the Montgomery Mall. Let's see. For in-def days. Oh, indefinite days as a result of disorderly conduct. I wonder what he did. Yeah, for real. Oh yeah, literally there's a tape stuck in there. That's cool. Radio. Okay, yeah, let's go. Wow, that is so cool though. So glad I got to see this. And back areas. Blueprints. Yo. Montgomery Police Department. Oh yeah, the full mall plans. Back when Dillard's was still open. Wow. See some of the stores that were still open. Sam Goody was still open. And KB Toys. Someone must have partnered with the police department a lot for a lot of things. There's a far out. There's a far out one. See the precision? Zoomed out is what I missed. More security tapes. Maybe these are like the good security tapes. These are the ones that were actually brought into this little office to be watched. There's security tapes all over. The bow. Oh, walks by you. Oh, look, you can see it. Won't focus, but there it is. More floppy disks all over the ground. Jeez, so much stuff just left here. It's really just so bizarre. So bizarre. Formal for the fun of it. Bleh, I can't speak. They're actually kind of nice chairs and a decent table. This is like somebody's chilling table. Okay, this is the hallway I wanted to go down right here. Look alive. Into the darkness we go. There's a bunch of neon or something. I don't know what. There's a P. If anybody knows, it looks like here's all the letters actually. ASXO. I don't know. It's a ton of letters. It's the S. This is like the old mall office right here. Montgomery Mall. Central. It's from 2005. Old computer. Wow. 10 years ago. Bring it a little, unfurl this page. Monthly mechanical inspection. I'd love to know when the last century was. Oh, the blank sheets, never mind. Nothing left really. Just junk, trash junk. Light the nightbook.
Take a look at this letter and read it. It is actually so sad. For such a connected and community-driven mall to just die at the end like that, ugh, that's awful.
The roof is There's some plans. I don't know if they're mall plans. Dressing rooms. Holy freak, they had a lot of dressing rooms. Wow. Wow, this is crazy. Look at the tile ceiling. It's very well designed. Wet Seal is another brand that this mall promotes that is no longer existent. There's quite a few of them. Huh. Wonder what this was. Oh my gosh, so many windows have been busted out up there. It's so sad. All the neon's still up though. Ew, gross. I like how sometimes these stores just have old monitors in them, left behind. Is there still a thing here? Exit. Dang. Spider webs are egregious.
In this point of the video, we are just over 2 hours in. To those of you that are still actively watching this beast, I love you and you're all real ones. I just wanted to set out and create the most in-depth video and walking experience that you could possibly have in the Montgomery Mall. And through all my visits to see the mall at different points, editing me has been going crazy trying to stitch this thing together over the course of the summer. But we're slowly and surely getting it done, and I just thought, since it's been a while, how about a history recap? So the troubled Montgomery Mall finally gets built in 1970 after only 5 years of money troubles with the company that initially owned the idea. And eventually, when it did get off the ground, it was a hopping place in the city. Stores quickly filled up in droves, and soon Montgomery Mall was a suburban commerce hub for the city. However, as the years went on, newer malls like Eastdale took away that swagger, and as the 80s rolled around, new owners Jim Wilson and Associates were looking to do whatever they could to spice up and spruce up what they liked to be called the new Montgomery Mall. Finally, in 1987, work would officially kick off as the entire north side of the mall and north parking lot were ripped up and redone with a new expansion wing and finally a third anchor, after only years of teasing the idea of it. The at the time two-screen theater, once a visionary center for movie-going, was closed by Carmike Cinemas on April 2nd, 1987, and it was soon demolished for the expansion. $45 million in all was spent on the new Montgomery Mall, which, as its 1988 grand opening came round, residents would soon find was money all put into the right place. With its grand opening, you will see the beauty and magical charm that came with the new mall.
Nothing left of this music land. But this was music land at one point. I must have turned this into a clothing store after the music land. Some of these out. Rest in peace. Oh! Look how you're right. The new Montgomery Mall.
The mall officially reopened, brandishing its new looks on a Monday, October 10th, 1988. At 8:30 a.m., with a ribbon cutting taking place in the brand new Palm Court food court, a huge 12-bay selection modeled after the world-famous International Food Court in Baltimore. The new food court, anchored by its own L-shaped arcade, was just the crux of the new layout, with the new Montgomery Mall, as it was now called, harboring over 100 stores within its footprint. Parisian officially opened just shortly after the mall reopened, with a massive new 113,000 square foot department store as the mall's official third anchor. The new layout was shaped in a way where the new food court was just the beginning of the turn into the new section, which paralleled the old mall down to a second new JCPenney mall entrance outside of what was then known as the intermediate court. now the kids' play area. The new mall then continued into an offshoot wing to the new Parisian store, which we've all seen the layout by this point, we all know how it works. But at the time, the old Montgomery Mall truly did become the new Montgomery Mall, and residents of the city were blown away by just how much the mall had changed with the times. In addition to parking lot trolleys, which were provided by Parisian, the mall was completely redone with its look you still see today. A beautiful representation of peak 80s mall architecture. Pink neons swirled around the new Palm Court food court, which in addition to featuring gazebo aesthetics, also featured a new full-sized carousel. Palm trees and other tropical plants dotted the new areas, as well as several, as the newspaper puts them, bubbling fountains, which filled areas in and provided the perfect background wash of ambiance. I believe these fountains to be the small square planters in the food court and the original smaller planters in the center court, as they all have water systems attached to them. I think they were removed in a later renovation, with the center court getting small statues, but these fountains to this day remain one of the most elusive bits of this mall's timeline. Regardless of where the fountains were, other new additions included reflective glass entrances, new signage, neons galore, pastel tile floors throughout, and in the center court, my favorite addition, a massive four-faced clock which could tell the time from pretty much anywhere in the mall as long as you could see it in the distance. Based off a Victorian late 1800s street clock, the new centerpiece sat proudly as an icon under blue neons, and was often dressed up with flower displays and other seasonal tidings. New stores to open with the mall included a lot of what you still see today in the new wing, rotted out now, but at the time gleaming and brand new. Victoria's Secret, KB Toys, Camelot Music, Cutlery World, Rack Room Shoes, Lane Bryant, Ruby Tuesday, 579, The Gap, and Rave, to name just a few. Like I said, Montgomery was completely overhauled, and its size more than doubled with the expansion. Going into the 1990s, remaining blank spaces quickly filled up, and Montgomery enjoyed what most would probably call its golden years. A time highlighted in the photos with success and community events, bands and shows, busy, crowded hallways, smiling, happy people, and neon-lit stores bustling out the wazoo. Take me to a time where I could have lived it. The magic and the beauty. This was Montgomery at its peak. So I'll shut up now and let a little photo slideshow take you guys away into what it was like back then, back during the era of magic. So the purpose of this visit, number 4 at Montgomery, by the way, 30 plus hour round trip for me, was to finally find and explore the old management office, which I was, for the longest time, just sort of feeling around for. But now, thanks to the scavenged map, I knew the exact location of. It was literally right behind the Music Land.
Oh, we were right there, man!
This visit was very much punctuated by a poignant fire alarm, which echoed throughout the hallways, and you'll probably be able to hear it throughout this video. The alarms seemed to be attached to an area near the fire station, so I suppose they could have been part of some sort of a test thing or a training thing, but it was very odd to see those signs of power and life, especially in such a decrepit mall, still going.
Is coming from somewhere in the food court, I think, because now it's getting quieter. This is so surreal.
This is that dastardly summer visit that I was mentioning at the beginning. The heat and dagginess inside of this mall, combined with the fact that it was now home to about 2 billion mosquitoes, made it an actual hell to walk through here. I mean, just look at some of these still shots and the amount of things flying around in the atmosphere. I came out of here this time itchy as ever and chock full of mosquito bites. It was awful. No stone shall be left unturned. Now let's dive into the dry-walled catacombs, dug under walls, and discover one of the mall's final major mysteries.
It's right here. This is it right here. This is the mall office. Oh, wow. Whoa, that's creepy. What's in that red book? Files. a teddy bear. Spiders. Look at the lighting up top. Merchant manual. Yeah, spiders. Trying to kick the spider webs. That's interesting. Christmas party. It's nothing interesting, it's just like a budget manual and everything. Employee handbooks. Office stuff. There's no photos really. I thought there might be something in this office. There's a bunch of floppy disks. Oh, gross. Nasty bugs too. Cockroaches, watch out. Oh, look at this. Oh, this is just Glinter's handbook. Whoa. It's all of their malls. Alameda Mall in Texas. This is cool. Colonial Park Mall. Venezuela. So Montgomery's in here, I'm sure, somewhere. Dayton Mall. Eastland, Charlotte. You have to let me know if any of these malls are like not abandoned.
I assume you go there.
Great Mall, Great Mall. This one is gone now. There wasn't anything in here. I'm so hot right now. Thing's massive. This giant hoop. think this was the Walden books right here. Kind of looks like one. Or the B. Dalton. One of the two. Bags of fun. Oh, I kind of wish that wasn't broken. I wish that wasn't broken. It'd be cool to have.
In 1991, Jim Wilson Jr., then managing several malls across the South with the Wilson name, filed for bankruptcy protection and was forced to sell off several of the company's malls in Chapter 11, including Montgomery, which for a short time sat in a limbo status before finally going into the hands of Chicago-based Heitman Retail in 1993 for $40 million. The name was reverted back to the shorter Montgomery Mall, and I believe this to be the time when the fountains were removed around the mall, a small change with equally small ficus trees and statues coming in to take their spots. Like I said, the fountains are one of the few things about this mall that are a true mystery to me. By the mid to late 90s, Montgomery Mall still had a solid grasp on the city's retail scene, and Heitman did a pretty good job with ownership, if not thanks to local management and the community keeping the place alive. Champ Sports and Gap Kids notably opened in the fall of 1995, and Montgomery's first ever Disney store even opened, a new location, in the spring of 1996.
Must have been a devastating loss when this learner closed. It is absolutely massive. All of the carpets here are like completely ruined. Everything is trashed. I think this Haven Sports was Eddie Bauer. Maybe. It's got EB on the ground. EB Trade Company. Since 1920. And right here you can see it's like a kind of like a seal. E. Yeah. Eddie. Oh yeah, it wasn't Eddie Bauer. B-A-U. Or. There's spiderwebs encasing that. I'm not even gonna mess with it. No. The Girl Boss Mobile. Ew, it's covered in spiderwebs. Help, huh?
However, I suppose the glory years could not go on forever. Maybe where the story takes its turn for the worse is when another change of hands occurred in July of 1998, when Glimcher Realty Trust of Columbus, Ohio purchased the mall for $70 million as a part of a larger $375 million acquisition of 5 malls across the US. Glimcher did basically nothing in terms of changes aside from walling off older closing stores or opening new stores in blank spots. However, as time went on, they seemed to become less and less proactive on that latter issue. 1998 was also a big year, as just after Glimcher's acquisition, the Dillard's chain completed their takeover of the Mercantile Stores Company, which longtime favorite Gaffer's was a part of. Dillard's rebranded the store soon after and closed Gaffer's Shoes and Gaffer's Big and Tall, which were the locations just to the left of the main mall entrance. The spaces were completely walled off, and very quickly it seemed as though several factors were against Glimcher from the get-go. For one, Jim Wilson Jr., now restructuring his company, was planning a massive new outdoor shopping center for the easterly suburbs of Montgomery. Eastdale was also planning out its own expansions, with both of these propositions in their own ways very well able to take away one of the mall's aging anchors. Wilson's, the shops at East Chase, officially opened in 2002 and took away yet another demographic of shoppers and name brand business. In the newer age of online shopping and big box convenience retail spreading up everywhere in Montgomery, fewer and fewer shopped at the old mall. Stores very quickly began to start closing, with some shim-sham third-party retail coming in to fill some of the space, but as you can obviously see today with the amount of walls, not nearly enough. This is, without a doubt, the longest video I have ever and will ever make. I have no desire to see any mall more than the amount of times I did Montgomery. If the algorithm even carries this fat 3-hour video, then maybe some former residents who remember can get to relive the magic. I fell in love with this mall, and like I said at the beginning, it easily became a top 5 of all time for me. I fell in love with not only the story and the architecture, but with discovering its different areas and finding every little secret and nook and cranny that I could. Discovering and saving the archives too was just the cherry on top. Now after this 5th and final visit here, the last time you will probably ever see Montgomery on this channel, I can say with confidence that there was nothing left for me to further discover. What this visit had in store for me was a sliver in a gap into a dark place hidden at the mall's main entrance. I do remember this visit very much in particular, just because our mission was to drive from Indiana to Florida, and then all the way to Montgomery, and back to Indiana in the course of just 2.5 days. So it was literally non-stop driving. The other 2 people I was with and I were always switching turns driving and sleeping in the back seat, but I remember Montgomery very much because we had driven all through the night to get there, and by that point of the trip, all of us were so beyond tired, sleep deprived, and the driving rotations had become so sporadic as pretty much nobody could regain even an ounce of energy. I do remember cruising through the foggy, wooded, hilly interstates of southern Alabama, like 4 in the morning, so believe you me when I say seeing the giant mirrored archways of Montgomery's main entrances was like seeing an actual oasis in the middle of a desert. Anything but sitting in that rental car for any longer would have been better. And we couldn't have chosen a better mall to cap it off.
Candy. So much time later. So many years later. Looks like it hasn't changed a bit. Oh my gosh. One of the few parts of the mall I haven't seen is right in here. Yeah. Really? And I've never seen this yet. That's like infinite mirrors effect. It's kind of creepy. Oh damn, it has windows and everything too. Oh my gosh. Yeah, dude, those are cool. Okay. America, baby. Let's see what it looks like if I turn my light off. Oof, that is creepy. Hell no. I bet y'all expected a face to pop out right there. Here's the cafeteria part of the Piccadilly. Oh my gosh. So like, how did this work? So like you would grab a tray and you would just go down this line and like grab all you want? Or is that how it worked?
Yes, that is how it works. I think my brain just was not used to seeing a cafeteria with such length and options and variety. I mean, damn, there must have been hundreds of options in this line. This is the stuff that rivals most currently operating cafeterias. The people of Montgomery had it good for a time.
Maybe this is how you came in. Oh, that makes more sense. So you would come in through here and then go through the line, get your food and sit down. I get it. Interesting. I guess I was literally like a step away from walking into that.
I feel like cafeterias are just something that don't really exist anymore. Like, I don't know anywhere around me where I can get an experience like this. They are truly just places that have gone with the times, sadly. This location would have been a Morrison's up until 1995 when the Shoney's parent company sold them off, becoming a Piccadilly cafeteria. This Piccadilly closed in March of 2004, leaving it abandoned now for over 22 years. I guess my comment about the mall working with the police department a lot really was true, because apparently they were getting tons of complaints in the early 2000s about young kids gathering at the mall, which, like, yeah, isn't that the point? Where else are they gonna go? Another example of old people ruining things. But anyway, in the summer of 2003, police set up checkpoints at all of the entrances to check for people's proof of insurance and driver's license, just to get into the mall, making it a massive hassle to even go inside. So yeah, it did deter kids, but the moronic move also deterred most of Montgomery's usual crowd. And turned away, facing a mall they barely even recognized anymore with all of the closing stores, they left. And day by day, Montgomery got emptier and emptier. In December of 2003, Dillard's confirmed it would leave Montgomery Mall for a new store at the shops at Eastchase. Dillard's, after only 5 years in the mall, closed its doors in February of 2004. A new location opened at Eastchase soon after. JCPenney, on the other end, who had caught a foul stink which was starting to emanate out of management, saw the writing on the wall and announced in 2004 that they too would be closing for a new store at Eastdale Mall. On March 6, 2005, JCPenney officially closed its doors at the Montgomery Mall. Just a few days later, on March 9, 2005, a new JCPenney store opened at Eastdale. This left the entirety of the original mall structure anchorless and void. By this point, stores were closing all over the mall at an uncontrollable pace. Gadzooks, gone. KB Toys, gone. Annie Ann's, gone. Eddie Bauer, gone, with the only things coming to replace these closed spaces being the empty white drywalls. In 2005, a longtime Day One eatery and the last sit-down restaurant in the mall, the Pub near JCPenney, closed its doors for good, moving to the nearby Chantilly Place. With the loss of both Dillard's and JCPenney, a lot of the original structure was left void of life. Thankfully, in May of 2005, Stephen Barry's would open a new store in the former Dillard's anchor to bandage the problems, with Hibbett Sports also opening a new store in the old Eddie Bauer next to it. But these small additions were just about it. By this point, half of the food court tenants had been closed and completely walled off, with most of the mall operating at a dwindling occupancy rate. Super warm, so that's interesting.
Take a look. Nasty spider webs. Oh my gosh, dude, that looks creepy as hell. Oh my god. Ugh. Dude, it's like the, I think this is the old Zales. Shag carpet. Whoa, that does look really cool, actually. That's where the entrance is. There's a bunch of entrances for this old Sales. Oh gosh, there's like a bajillion spiders in that corner. Hell no.
Soak it up while you can. Take in every beautiful morsel of this wonderful mall. Every gold-clad mirrored wrap pillar, every wonderful and unique storefront, every wonderful tile aesthetic. Just enjoy it one last time because, like I said earlier, this is the last time we're ever going to see Montgomery, and I'm so ready for this thing to be done.
Look at those swirling patterns on the floor. Another thing I love about this Claire is all those like multicolored ceiling tiles. Got them just for the fun of it. It's so good.
The only few positive changes in the early 2000s came about when the intermediate court was removed for the Montgomery Zoo, a play area sponsored by, you guessed it, the Montgomery Zoo. And in October of 2005, the Trenholm State Technical College set up a culinary class which would serve lunch and dinners out of the old Ruby Tuesday, which they called Harper's. It was a short-lived venue. Surprisingly, the upscale Parisian store stuck it out far longer than anyone thought they would, well into the mall's dead years. However, they too were the next to falter and fall off, closing their massive 113,000 square foot anchor store in early March of 2006. After the loss of Parisian, between 2006 and 2008 alone, almost all of the remaining stores inside of Montgomery packed up and left without a trace. A time period which mirrors when almost all of the new tenants back then would have signed their 20-year leases between 1986 and 1988. So, while tragic, it really does make sense why so many of them all sort of just jumped out at the same time. At several points throughout 2007, then Mayor of Montgomery, Bobby Bright, publicly criticized Glimcher for running the mall into the ground, saying that they never showed willingness to improve it and used it solely as a tax write-off. Which was basically true. Glimcher back then did to Montgomery Mall what Kohan and Namdar do to so many malls today. They exterminated it with horrible management. Glimcher finally sold the mall in May of 2007 for a meager $4.4 million. Remember when they had acquired it less than 10 years before, and it was valued over $70 million? New owners Dothan Acquisitions, LLC, did as much for the mall as their corporate, money-hungry name suggests. Which was nothing. To them, the mall was nothing more than a failing asset waiting to be closed and redeveloped. The carousel was dismantled and sold, and mall manager at the time, Jack Thomas Jr., had hoped that the mall could be redeveloped into a mix of office and retail. However, when the city confronted him about the plans, budgets, and proposals, he completely backed out of it. By spring of 2008, Montgomery Mall was probably one of the saddest malls in the US. What was once a center of color, vibrancy, and life was reduced to little more than rows of drywalls in just 5 years. Stephen Barry's, entering the recession in Chapter 11 bankruptcy, announced that they too would be closing their Montgomery location, the last store left in the mall. And with it, the mall too would close. The empty husk of 80s wonder that was Montgomery Mall, after 38 years, closed its doors for the last time at 7 p.m. on September 22nd, 2008, and it was left completely abandoned. When walking up to the locked entrances, one could still see everything left exactly as it was. Clock untouched, plants still thrivant in the planters, chairs and tables in the food courts, and benches waiting for people. And look at those gumballs. They actually look kind of appetizing. It's truly ghostly and strangely haunting, especially the spots where the leaks nowadays have become the worst parts of the mall. Giant rotting out sections of the ceiling marked with huge puddles which have completely spread through the hallways. And how these exact same spots almost 20 years ago were seen as nothing more but little drips just starting to come out of the ceiling, with nothing more than a bucket or two set beneath them to catch the water.
Yet another way into the mall. That's still locked. What does this one say? Flames Grill.
One of my current running theories for the placement of the original fountains after the 88 remodel is these little planter stubs they have here in the food court. Now you might be asking, why would these strange, sporadic, and small tiled blocks be fountains? Even in older photos, we can see that they clearly had plants in them. Well, you see, the mall was remodeled by Jim Wilson in 1988. Which other southern mall owned and renovated by Jim Wilson at the same time had nearly identical bidet fountains? Metro Center Mall. And I don't know about you, but they look nearly identical to me. Up until Heitman's takeover, these all would have each possibly ran their own little bidets here in the food court, and mirrored onto the other side. But that's just a game theory.
I've seen black mold and green mold, but purple mold's new. Interesting.
As the years went on, the public's belief that the abandoned mall would ever be repurposed dwindled faster than the building itself did. Although much of the mall remained empty, signs of new life did slowly begin to reappear. By January of 2014, the city of Montgomery had opened the South Central Department, bringing both a new police precinct and fire station to the area, and giving an interesting use to the old Gaffer's building. A year later, in March of 2015, city officials and developers unveiled a new vision for the site, officially renaming the old mall One Center, with a big banner promoting it. This was in an effort to hopefully transform it into some sort of a campus, which could be redeveloped in any number of ways. The transformation sort of continued to work, at least for the anchor buildings, when in August of 2016, the Montgomery Preparatory Academy for Career Technologies opened its new campus inside of the former JCPenney building. And 1 year later, in August of 2017, Lamp High School welcomed students into its new home in the renovated former Parisian department store. And that's pretty much it, because aside from the former department store buildings, the rest of the mall has been stuck completely abandoned for 18 years. Until 2020, it was still relatively untouched, with decay fully beginning to set in, being the only hurdle Montgomery further had to face. However, even that hurdle grew to become a mountain as the mall grew to become very popular in the early 2020s, and by the time we had visited throughout 2025, vandalism and decay had grown exponentially. And I can't even imagine what it's like now in the summer of 2026. But yeah, that's Montgomery Mall and its story. The rise and the fall of a great American shopping center. What does the future hold for it? As nature continues to set in and vandalism only gets worse, it's really only anyone's best guess. But I can't see the place remaining too many years longer. It's an eyesore on the city's south side that, with its prestigious academies and departments now surrounding it, can't go unchecked any longer. Literally the first page I turned to says here, photography is allowed inside of the mall, except for news media. What had once been one of my most dreaded videos that I knew I had to make one day is finally complete. And with that, I feel so complete. I hope that you all enjoyed Montgomery. The sights, the sounds, it truly is one of the greatest currently standing abandoned malls in the US. And the fact that it remains in its current state, completely open to the world, is bewildering to me. Do you have any memories from Montgomery? Did you see yourself in one of the photos by chance? Let me know down below. As for the photos, I'm going to be releasing a full archive slideshow, complete with events, commercials, news ads, and stories and all sorts of fun stuff from around the mall, which will be coming a week after this video is released. This thing's already too long to add anything else to it. Now, as we let this final song play out here, we'll take some final looks around the mall before we head out, but that is it for me. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. That way you don't miss out on future episodes, and it would really mean a lot to me, especially considering the fact that I spent nearly 2 months working on this thing. But with that out of the way, I also want to shout out my incredible Patreon supporters, the ones that really fuel these adventures. Literally, without y'all we wouldn't be able to travel to these bizarre malls and tell these crazy stories. So yeah, thank you, seriously, all of you. If you're still here 3 hours later, you're wild and I love you, but I hope your appetite for bandos isn't quite nourished yet. We still have one final season finale to get to. One massive abandoned southern mall that I have been so eagerly awaiting to fully share with you all for so long now. It's finally time for Jim Wilson's other largest mall, mentioned here a few times in this video. Guess which mall we'll be at, and I'll shout you out in the next episode. But until then, you all have yourselves a lovely evening, and peace out, you guys. See you later.